The echo of the past. The film opens with sweeping landscapes of Japan, now laced with railroads and telegraph lines. Nathan Algren, older and grizzled, lives in quiet exile in a small village. He spends his days teaching discipline, swordsmanship, and meditation to a few curious villagers who seek to learn the old ways. Still, he carries the ghost of Katsumoto, reliving the samurai's final charge in his nightmares. His peace feels fragile, as if he's waiting for something inevitable to disrupt it. Government soldiers arrive unexpectedly. Algren is summoned by a high-ranking Meiji official, who reminds him that his knowledge of both samurai and Western warfare is unmatched. Japan is entering dangerous times, and the emperor requests his counsel. Algren initially refuses, wanting to leave the past behind, but he is reminded that Katsumoto believed he had a purpose in Japan. Reluctantly, he agrees. Arriving in Tokyo, Algren is stunned. The once traditional city has become almost unrecognizable. Modern suits replace robes, rifles replace blades, and skyscrapers and railroads are rising. Yet beneath the modern veneer, he notices common people struggling to adapt. Whispers of resentment among farmers and ronin, and an unease that modernization is costing Japan its soul. Algren visits Katsumoto's grave in a serene temple garden. As he bows in respect, he is confronted by Hiroshi, Katsumoto's son, now in his late 20s. Hiroshi accuses him of betraying his father, saying Algren lived while Katsumoto died. He sees Algren as a usurper of his father's honor. Their encounter ends in tension, though Algren sees the pain and fire in Hiroshi's heart. In a private meeting, Emperor Meiji confides in Algren. The emperor admires Western progress, but fears Japan is losing its essence. He recalls Katsumoto's words about balance. He asks Algren to help preserve samurai ideals within a modern framework. But powerful ministers push for full Westernization, seeing tradition as weakness. Meiji is caught between two worlds, just as Algren once was. Reports surface of violent uprisings across rural Japan. Villages loyal to old traditions are joining a mysterious figure known only as the Dragon. Trains are derailed, government tax collectors slain, and banners of the old clans are raised again. The Dragon is whispered to be a legendary former general, a man who fought alongside Katsumoto but rejected his path of sacrifice. His mission: purge all Western influence from Japan. Algren visits Taka, Katsumoto's sister, in her village. She has aged gracefully, raising her children in the memory of her brother's ideals. She welcomes Algren with warmth, but also with sorrow, for his presence reopens old wounds. Her eldest son now studies in Tokyo, symbolizing the family's struggle to balance the past with the future. Algren feels both at home and out of place, forever a foreigner, yet deeply tied to this family. Hiroshi gathers a band of young men, former samurai sons, peasants, and wanderers, who still cling to the Bushido way. They ask Algren to train them, seeing him as the man Katsumoto trusted most. Algren reluctantly agrees, but insists they learn discipline, strategy, and humility, not just combat. Hiroshi resists Algren's teaching, rejecting firearms entirely and insisting that a true samurai dies with a sword in hand. Their arguments foreshadow a deeper ideological clash. During a reconnaissance mission, Algren finally meets the Dragon. He is revealed to be Lord Takeyoshi, a powerful and charismatic former samurai general once close to Katsumoto. Unlike Katsumoto, who sought harmony, Takeyoshi believes Japan's spirit is being destroyed by the emperor's weakness. He intends to overthrow the throne, believing bloodshed is the only path to restoration. His words stir Hiroshi's heart, tempting him toward rebellion. Corruption festers in the emperor's court. Certain ministers secretly support the Dragon, hoping to profit from chaos. One night, assassins strike during a meeting with Algren and Hiroshi. They barely escape alive, but the attack reveals how deep the rebellion's roots have grown. The emperor is shaken, realizing his closest advisors may be compromised. Algren and Hiroshi have a heated confrontation. Hiroshi sees the dragon as the embodiment of samurai strength, while Algren warns that he is only using honor as a mask for tyranny. Hiroshi accuses Algren of betraying his father's legacy by siding with the Emperor. The rift between them widens, and Hiroshi contemplates joining the dragon. In a quiet moment, Taka and Algren share tea by candlelight. She confesses her fears for Hiroshi and her children, and she tells Algren that Katsumoto always believed he carried the spirit of a warrior despite being an outsider. Algren feels torn between his longing for peace and his duty to guide Hiroshi. Their bond deepens. Romantic tension simmers but remains restrained by honor and memory. The dragon assembles a massive force of samurai loyalists, peasants, and mercenaries marching across the countryside. His army burns railroads, destroys armories, and seizes towns. In desperation, Emperor Meiji orders Algren and Hiroshi to lead a mixed army, Western-trained soldiers armed with rifles alongside traditional warriors with swords and bows. The hybrid force symbolizes the Emperor's desire for unity between eras. The two armies collide in a ferocious clash. Rifles thunder, arrows darken the sky, and swords clash in brutal close combat. Algren's tactics prevent a total slaughter, but Hiroshi disobeys orders, charging headlong into the fray with his katana. His reckless valor nearly gets him killed and costs many lives. Though the battle ends in a stalemate, the losses weigh heavily on Hiroshi's conscience. Hiroshi isolates himself, haunted by the men who died under his command. He questions whether he is worthy of his father's name. Algren finds him and shares his own past, his shame in America, his redemption in Katsumoto's eyes, and his lesson that true honor lies in protecting life, not seeking glory. This moment transforms their relationship into something like father and son. Emperor Meiji addresses the nation directly. For the first time, he defies his ministers and declares that Japan's strength lies not in abandoning tradition, but in blending it with progress. His speech inspires many, but it enrages the dragon, who declares that the emperor is weak and must die. Plans are made for an assassination during the emperor's next public appearance. The dragon's army storms the capital, overwhelming the city's defenses. Fires rage as the rebels advance toward the imperial palace. Algren and Hiroshi rally their mixed army for a desperate defense. Soldiers and rifles form firing lines alongside samurai charging with blades. The battle echoes the last stand at Katsumoto's village, fierce, tragic, and unforgettable. Amid the chaos, Algren faces the dragon in a climactic duel. The dragon fights with unmatched ferocity, embodying the fury of the samurai spirit twisted by vengeance. The two clash in a rain-soaked courtyard, their swords sparking with each strike. Algren ultimately defeats him, but instead of killing him dishonorably, he offers mercy. The dragon refuses and performs seppuku, dying as a samurai, but leaving his rebellion shattered. With the dragon defeated, peace is restored. Hiroshi kneels before the emperor, pledging loyalty and vowing to teach future generations the balance between honor and progress. The emperor promises to preserve Japan's soul while guiding it into the future. Taka embraces Algren, finally calling him family. The bonds between them feel permanent, forged through loss and survival. In the closing scene, Algren, Hiroshi, and Taka's children stand before Katsumoto's grave. Cherry blossoms drift in the wind as Algren reflects in voiceover. The way of the samurai may fade, but the spirit, the courage, the loyalty, the honor lives on in those who remember. The camera pans upward to the blossoms against the sky, ending the film on a note of hope and legacy.